my guest is Dr. Olivia Gumbo, who is a PhD holder in development studies with over 18 years experience in the development sector, specifically human rights, democracy, public sector reform, gender, transparency, and accountability. I know it sounds like a mouthful, but basically it means that the book we are going to be looking at today, she is more than well equipped to give us some of it. Now, we do have a bit of a dilemma in our households. The tablet, the phone, the laptop have brought in a whole new dynamic to how we interact with our children on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes it's not always easy. And then there are things that happen that we don't really know are happening that we should be a little bit wary of. So she is the best person to be talking to us about this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for coming through. So we've given this background of who you are professionally. Let's look at you a little bit as just Olivia. Let's triple the title. So who is Olivia?
Okay. Olivia is a mother of 3 sons. And a professional woman, a businesswoman, and a philanthropist who is very involved in a children's life. And that is what really prompted me to write this book, because I have realized that as a professional, most of the time I'm very busy, and my children who are born in the digital age, because they are part of the Generation Z and Generation Alpha, they are always on their digital platforms. So it has been a real challenge in the house, and I really wanted to understand them. So that's what prompted me to write the book.
Right. Now, we do have a lot of parents saying, look, it's a lot easier for me to just leave them on their tablet, to just leave them on their phone, because it frees me up to do what I need to get done, especially when they're a lot younger. What are some of the aspects of this new kind of parenting that we've fallen into without even realizing that this is what we're doing?
Yeah, I think for me, what I have realized is you can't leave your children just on the digital platforms or maybe on the tablet when they are young or even when they are older. You need to know which sites they are on. You need to understand what is interesting them, so that at least you can guide them. You need to give them the screen time rules, because on the screen they also have these pop-ups that just comes by, which would attract your children to go to wrong sites. And when they go to wrong sites, sometimes they'll become addicted to those wrong sites like pornography, gaming, and sometimes they can actually be cyberbullied online. And I was hearing yesterday, there was a child who posted something online, and he was asking whether he can kill himself. And most of the people who responded were kill yourself. And the child decided to kill himself because he was getting this information from online. So it is always important for parents to be involved, to understand what sites or who your children are interacting with in order for you to guide them. Yes.
Now, you've mentioned, of course, the aspect of cyberbullying, landing on the wrong sites. And sometimes, it's our kids have become a little bit smarter than us at this point, simply because of how they've grown up in the technology, and we are having to evolve into the technology. There are mechanisms in place that kind of help us block some of these sites, especially. But how do you nurture your child in a way that also develops their EQ? So taking, for example, the state, the example that you gave of a child who went on, posted, should I kill myself? And the responses, of course, it being online, they are detached from this child, saying yes, yes, yes. Teaching your child that even when it seems like this is the correct thing to do, or it seems like this is an okay to do, come back to who you are, come back to who's raising you, come back to the community you're in, and realize that no, this is not where we're supposed to go.
Yeah, I think it takes intentionality for parents to sit down with your children, teach them the good things about the digital sides and the bad thing about the digital sides in order for them to make an informed decision. What I have realized with these children, they are very inquisitive. They need to understand why you are telling them not to do something. So you need to have a discussion with them in order for them to understand the reason why they should be on and the reason why they should not be on. And what I've also realized is with the digital age, children are learning more on these platforms. So you need also to have some sites which they can visit, and you can block some other sites. And other parents would say, I don't know. But you can actually hire a professional who would tell you on what to put, the passcodes to put in order for you to block some sites which your children cannot go on. And also just to tell them about these pop-ups, if they know what is the dangers of the pop-ups, what they should be doing, how they can spend productive time online, they'll be in a position to block them. They can actually inform you that they are having these pop-ups. So for me, it's more of being a present parent. That's why I'm running a campaign on present parenting for professional parents, so that you need to be present in your child's life in order for you to guide them. And if we don't guide them, they will end up now behaving like the child I was talking about, because the parent is not there.
Right.
They are always working. They don't know what their children are involved in. And for these parents, they are thinking that they are doing great things because they are looking for money for school fees. But you have to be intentional to develop a relationship with your child, because that's the most important responsibility that as parents have.
When you look at developing that that relationship with your child, now a lot of our parenting styles come off of how we were parented.
Yes.
And so you'll find there's that gap.
Yes.
In what's so-called modern parenting and the parenting that raised us, for example, right? So Gen Z, Gen Alpha are completely new creatures to us.
Yes.
They're completely new creatures to us. As parents, how do you update your parenting style? How do you update your parenting EQ in how to handle the changes that are happening around you?
For me, how I updated my IQ in parenting was to start being vulnerable to my children, to tell them that I want to be involved in your own lives, but I don't know how to do it, because the way I was raised is different from the environment that you are in. So can you let me be part of your life? So you need to be open enough for your children to understand that you want to be involved, and intentionally creating time. So for me, I intentionally create time with my children where I want to play with them games on PlayStation in order for me to understand what they are playing. And I would also ask them, okay, if you're on TikTok, how do I do it? So when they are teaching me, when they are talking to me, they are also more vulnerable to me. They trust me, and that's how we became friends in a way, and then they would be open to me. So it's intentionality to be involved in these children's life, and also to understand their world. We need to read more on what is happening in their world, because what were troubles or challenges for us long time ago, maybe it was getting into town in a combi, but for them they are not. We are driving them. So what is the problem for them? Maybe it is the internet access, it is the data, it is the cyberbullying. So really understanding that we are now living in a different world. So for me, I encourage parents to intentionally understand the character of your child and know how you can be closer to them. If it is about sports, then let it be. Go for sports with them. Be with them all the time so that they will start trusting you and tell you the real stories. Otherwise, if you don't, you become strangers in your own house.
Doc, I really love that this conversation that we're having, because it is a major problem that we are experiencing. Now, who is reading this book, Doc?
The people who are reading, mostly they are young parents who are actually starting new families. They are also older parents who wants to understand more on how they can parent. They are grandchildren, they are grandparents who have been left with grandchildren. Most of the people that have gone to the diaspora, and grandparents, they don't know how to parent this generation. So these are the people who are reading this book. And I would say everyone who wants to have family should be reading this book.
I love that. Where do we find it?
You find them at Worldwide Bookstore, that is at Celebration Center. I also move around with some copies.
All right, please just give us your number if we need to get our hands on a copy and can't get to Celebration.
Okay, it's 078-318-4737.
Thank you very much. That is the book Parenting Children of Influence in the Digital Age. This is by Dr. Olivia Gumbo.